Good evening and welcome to the May 23rd, 2017 meeting of the Guilderland Board of Education. Would you all please silence your cell phones and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first item on the agenda tonight is the Student Showcase Pine Bush Research Project, and for that I'd like to pass it to Dr. Wiles.
Yes, I'd like to welcome our 7th grade students here with Dr. Alan Fierro. They are going to share a presentation about the research in the pine bush. So Dr. Fierro, you have an audience.
Hello, my name is Chloe. The Albany Pine Bush Preserve is a one-of-a-kind living classroom where students' curiosity furthers a greater public understanding of this globally rare ecosystem. Thousands of elementary school students and middle school students visit the Pine Bush each year to experience this and to participate in hands-on restoration activities. And as the Pine Bush Preserve Commission works to increase STEM programming, new opportunities for students to apply learning to authentic research opportunities are being created. We currently lack adequate data on climate variables, including air temperature and relative humidity across the topography of the pine bush. This information could further our understanding of species distribution within the preserve, as well as potential areas of habitat refuge for species feeling the effect of global climate change. To be able to do all this, the Friends of the Pine Bush applied for a grant from 3M and received funding to support student research. The funding was used to supply equipment for this research. FMS was the first school to carry out this research. We would now like to show you our results.
Hiawatha 7A from Farnsworth Middle School took a field trip to the Albany Pine Bush. Our chaperone was our science teacher, Dr. Alan Fierro. The purpose of the trip was to find the best microclimate for lupin to grow. Connor blue butterflies are endangered species that can be found in the Albany pine bush. The only food that they eat is the lupin plant, and it may be becoming too warm for it to grow.
To take our trip, we went in 4 groups. Each class split into 2 groups to complete this task. One group climbed up the north side of the dune, and one group climbed up the south side of the same dune.
The Pine Bush Commission taught us how to take temperatures and wind speeds at 3 different points of the dune. We retrieved data from the data logger, and we were looking for the temperature. The place with the coldest temperature is where we would hope to grow lupin later if the temperature in the pine bush continued to rise.
We went down the west and east sides of the dune, so we weren't looking at the same thing twice. When everyone made it to the bottom, we compared data and found the point of lowest temperature. That place might eventually be the place where we would grow lupin later on for the Connor blue butterflies to eat.
We plugged the data into the data tracker into the computer, and we examined all of the data.
This slide shows the data from the data logger. It recorded temperature and humidity every 10 minutes, 24 hours a day.
We had a great time on our field trip, and when we got back to school, we had a lot of work to do.
Hi, I'm Abby Cassavant.
And I'm Nick Raguso. When we got back, we took 2 tutorials to make handmade graphs. Here we have a single handmade graph of the data we received on the data sheets by Maya Reagan. It is a graph of the temperature at the top, middle, and bottom of one side of a dune on one day. On the x-axis, we have military time, and on the y-axis, we have temperature. In these graphs, we look for where the lowest temperature appears at either the top, middle, or bottom of that dune.
Here we have 2 handmade graphs made from the same data by Maya Regan and Sonari Ismail. You can see how our graphs vary depending on what the individual used as a scale for the y-axis and where they put their decimals. They also have different corresponding colors for top, bottom, and middle. We were able to check out our work by comparing the graphs. As you can see, they are almost identical, so I think we did very well.
Finally, we have Sonari's handmade graph next to a computer graph with the same data. They show the same data just a bit differently. The computer graph is a bit wider and shorter. However, they are again very similar, so I think our graphs are very accurate.
Hi, I'm Maya.
And I'm Ananya.
Each student received a chart like this one that explained the temperatures for every hour in a day on one side of a dune of the Albany pine bush. The three parts of the dune, bottom, middle, and top, are represented with temperatures throughout the day. The title of this chart, KBEN 812, means the north side of the Carner Barrens East Dune, with August 12th the date on which the information was collected. This was important to our work because only a couple students got to use each different chart and compare their results. 2 different sides of the dune and all the days throughout a month were analyzed.
We figured out the mean temperatures of the low, middle, and high locations on all the dunes and put them in this chart using Google Sheets. We also show all the minimum and maximum temperatures on all the 3 locations. We use Google Sheets to create a graph based on the chart we had made. This is an example of one. We then analyzed the graphs and got these stories. That's what Dr. Fiero calls them. The stories explain what is happening in the graph. One of the stories is from 0 to 500, or 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. The bottom dune was coldest by ½ degree Celsius. Our class is also hoping to analyze the relationships between the temperatures on the dunes and their weather.
Hi, I'm Amy. So each student had to analyze and work on one dune for the days that were analyzed, as you can see. More than one student did each graph so that we could check our work. If there was a difference, the students had to go back and make corrections. This data was used by Natalie that you will be seeing next. The top part of the chart is the north side and the bottom part of the chart is the south side. As you can see, Anushri and Ram and I and all of our data was the same. This data was supposed to be the same, so we did it correctly.
Hi, I'm Natalie. Hi, I'm Athena. This graph represents daily maximum temperatures of Carter Blue East North Side. Blue represents the bottom of the dune, red represents the middle of the dune, and yellow represents the top of the dune. For a majority of the 20 days, the middle of the dune had the lowest max. Only for about one day the bottom was the coldest. This graph represents the daily minimum temperatures of Carter Blue East North Side. For most of the days, the bottom is the coldest, but for approximately 3 days, there is a 3-way tie. This graph represents the daily mean temperatures of Carter Blue East Dune North Side. For a majority of the time, the bottom is the coldest or tied for the coldest with the middle. The middle was the coldest for 3 days. The top of the dune was steadily the warmest throughout the end of July to beginning of August. As you can see, from north 215 to north 221, the bottom is the coldest.
This graph represents the daily minimum temperatures at Carter Blue East South Side. The bottom of the dune was coldest for a majority of the 20 days. On the other days, there's a 3-way tie. This graph represents the daily minimum temperatures of Carter Blue East South Side. The graph shows most of the days say the bottom of the dune was the coldest. For approximately 3 days, the bottom is tied with the middle and top of the dune. This graph represents the daily mean temperatures of Carter Blue East South Side. For 18 out of the 20 days, the bottom of the dune was the coldest. From south 213 to south 214, there is a three-way tie. For these graphs, I colored for both north and south dunes the time of the lowest temperature occurred. As you may see, the bottom of the dune was consistently the coldest in late evenings and early mornings.
Hi, I'm Bailey. When we took the temperatures at the bottom of the dune, the temperatures were equal except for the minimum temperatures. For the middle point in the dune where we took the temperature, the south was a higher temperature. As you can see, as we looked at the means throughout the day, the south temperature was greater than the north. We can analyze from this that the south was generally a higher temperature than the north.
In conclusion, this project on the pine bush has been a great learning experience. I feel that it helped me to understand the pine bush and its history much better by doing the research my class and I did. I especially appreciate the fact that we were able to go to the pine bush and do work to help save it. Last week, we even went to pull up honeysuckle plants, an invasive species. The work was hard, but we knew we were really making a difference. Farnsworth Middle School is proud to be the first school studying and helping out in the pine bush. This project is trying to prove that students can do real work to help. We were successful, and hopefully in the near future, more schools will join us. As a class, we were only able to analyze one month of data, but joining with other schools will produce more results, and we will be able to get more done. We're grateful for this experience. And we also want to thank our awesome teacher, Dr. Fierro, for all the work he's given us to. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that presentation. It's very impressive, all of the data collection that you did and analyzing with such accuracy. And I know that the Pine Bush really, really appreciated it. Are there any questions or comments from anybody here? Barbara? Anyone else?
Did you see any butterflies?
Good question. Anyone else? Well, thank you so much for coming in and sharing this with everybody. So the next item on our agenda this evening is the tenure recognition and the recognition of retirees, and for that I will pass it to Lynn Severance.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. We just enjoyed a wonderful reception prior to the board meeting getting started, and it has to be one of the best turnouts we've ever had, and it was really, really wonderful to see all of you celebrating an accomplishment this evening and meeting your family members and friends. So thank you so much for coming. So it's my pleasure to welcome each and every one of you here this evening as we recognize two significant events, the achievement of tenure and to honor our retirees after many years of distinguished service to the district. I'd like to thank a few people before we get started. Linda Mossop and the food services staff and our custodial staff for setting up an amazing table out back with the cheese and crackers and punch. It was absolutely wonderful. I'd like to extend a thank you to my secretary, Barb Jager, one of our retirees this evening, for all of your time and attention to detail that goes into making an evening like this such a success, and I could not have done it. It wouldn't have happened without her. So Barb, thank you. I'd also like to thank Sheila Ilario, another one of our retirees this evening, who is the K-12 administrator for art, for the wonderful tree in the back that has all of our Tenure apples on it, and also the little poster that's got all of our retirees on it. So we're honoring our tenurees as apples at the top of the tree, and the base represents the foundation upon which this institution has been established. I'd like to invite all of our tenurees to take an apple home. It's got your name on it. So at this time, I would like to invite Dr. Wiles to the podium to speak on behalf of these two important events.
Thank you, Lynn, and good evening, everyone. This is such a wonderful evening to celebrate the bookends, as it were, of careers in education. So we're so happy to see so many of you here tonight with your family and your friends to commemorate what really is two amazing events. And I think they're amazing events because it's really, I think, a privilege to work in the field of education. Regardless of whatever position you have when you work in schools with kids, whether you're a teacher, an administrator, a bus driver, a secretary, a nurse, you touch the lives of students every single day. And more than touching them, I think when you work in education, you are the maker of memories. I think we just saw a bunch of students up here today who have an indelible memory of learning thanks to Dr. Fierro. But every single one of us in this room, if you were to take 15 seconds or less, you could think of a memory from school that you carry with you to this day. Right? You all probably got one right now. So I feel that when we have this work in education, it's a tremendous honor, but it's also a tremendous responsibility because people remember us. And as I think of the two bookends here in these memories, I did a little bit of research to see what do kids say about what they remember in school. And I came across an article that was written in the Huffington Post a few years ago by a teacher named Lori Gard, G-A-R-D. And she writes about teaching, and I'm going to read a little bit of it to you. But you can substitute almost any position in schools for this story. So I invite you to read the whole thing. It's the Huffington Post back in 2013, but let me share this little bit with you. Our new teachers who are receiving tenure will appreciate this, as will our seasoned veterans who are leaving us soon. So listen to this. It says, what students remember most about teachers? And it starts this way. Dear young teacher down the hall, I saw you as you rushed past me in the lunchroom. Urgent. In a hurry to catch a bite before the final bell could ring, calling all the students back inside. I noticed your eyes showed tension. There were faint creases in your forehead. And I asked you how your day was going, and you sighed. Oh, fine. But I knew it was anything but fine. I noticed the stress was getting to you. I could tell the pressure was rising. And I looked at you and made an intentional decision to stop you right then and there, to ask you how things were really going. Was it that I saw in you a glimpse of myself in that moment that made me stop? You told me how busy you were, how much there was to do, how little time there was to get it all done. I listened, and then I told you this. I told you to remember that at the end of the day, it's not about the lesson plan. It's not about the fancy stuff we teachers make, the crafts we do, the stories we read, the papers we laminate. Nope, that's not really it. That's not what matters most. As I looked at you, you were wearing all that worry under the strain, and I said, it's about being there for kids. Because at the end of the day, most students won't remember the amazing lesson plan you created. They won't remember how organized your bulletin boards are, how straight and neat the desks are. Nope, they're not going to remember anything like that, but they will remember you. Your kindness, your empathy, your care and concern. They'll remember that you took the time to listen, that you stopped to ask them how they were, how they really were. They'll remember the personal stories you tell them about your life, your home, your pets, your kids. They'll remember your laugh. They'll remember that you sat and talked with them while they ate their lunch. Because at the end of the day, what really matters is you. What matters to those kids who sit before you in those little chairs, legs pressed tight up to the tables, often too small. You is what matters to them. So to retirees, I want to thank you for all your years of making memories for the children of Guilderland and for their families, because you know they went home and talked about you around the dinner table. I can't thank you enough for all the work that you've done and the differences you've made in the lives of thousands of children when you think about all the people in this room tonight. So my sincere thanks on behalf of the district for that great work. And to those of you who've been awarded tenure, your journey is really just beginning. I know you might be thinking, whew, I made it, I'm good. You've just begun. So I would like you to think about all the memories you will make for the children who will work with you in the years to come. You really will make a difference. We've put our vote of confidence in you, and we have great and high expectations for your work. So please let me congratulate all of you, those who are retiring, those who are getting tenure, and everybody in this room who played a part in making it happen. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Wiles. It is my privilege now to present to the Board of Education and our educational community our newly tenured employees. We're recognizing 10 individuals this evening receiving 7 different tenure areas. The introductions will be made by members of our administrative team. Tenurees, when your name is announced, please stand if you would and introduce or acknowledge those individuals supporting you this evening. Not all of our tenurees are here this evening, but we're going to have an administrator come up and just mention their name. We're going to start with Mr. Alan Lockwood, principal of Guilderland Elementary School.
Good evening, everyone. It's my great pleasure to recognize Miss Elena Peterson, who's achieving tenure in the area of remedial reading. Turn over the microphone to Mr. Peter Brabant from Altamont Elementary.
Thank you, Mr. Lockwood. On behalf of Lisa Knowles, Kelly Dioldi, and myself, we are pleased and proud to present the award of tenure achievement to Miss Rachel Ehot in the areas of special education and reading. I'd like to invite Miss Alicia Rizzo up.
Good evening. It is my distinct honor and pleasure to congratulate one of my reading teachers, Miss Katie Mecca. Where is she? Oh, there she is. Congratulations, Katie, on earning your tenure this evening. I would like to introduce now Dr. Beth Beanie, the principal of Westmere.
It is my pleasure this evening to recognize one of our English as another language teachers, Mrs. Mary Sandoval. Mary is not with us tonight. She is currently giving birth to her second child as we speak. So congratulations to Mary and her new family.
It's tough to follow, I think. Dr. Wiles, or thank you, Dr. Beanie. On behalf of the middle school administrative team, Bev Bisnet-Jenks, and the rest of the House principals, we'd like to congratulate and join Ashley Gerard in the area of mathematics. Congratulations, Ashley. Also very fortunate to congratulate one of our special education teachers, Mr. Matthew Mays. The cutie in the back. Then finally, on behalf of the math department and the rest of us, I'd like to congratulate and welcome Sheila Sarafzada, and as our students call her, Miss Sarafi. So congratulations, Sheila. Congratulations, everybody. I'd like to now turn it over to Lisa Knowles, Director of PPS for the district.
Good evening. I would like to recognize Caitlin Carroll, a speech and language pathologist from Farnsworth Middle School, on her achievement of tenure in the area of speech and hearing handicapped. Mrs. Carroll is not here this evening, but I wish her congratulations, and we're so fortunate to have her working with us at our middle school.
Good evening. On behalf of everybody at Guilderland High School, I would like to congratulate one of our assistant principals, Miss Anne-Marie McManus. Congratulations on tenure. She promised not to cry.
My husband, who has to be here, but I'm sure he'd be here anyway, he didn't have to.
Now turn it back over to Dr. Wiles, Superintendent of Schools.
Thanks, Tom. It is my pleasure to recognize Mrs. Lisa Knowles, who is receiving tenure as our Director of Pupil Personnel Services. Congratulations, Lisa.
Not to mention Kelly Dioldi and Megan Rivers for their ongoing support and tireless dedication to the work that they do, and I couldn't do it without them.
Congratulations.
So Ms. Hayes and members of the Board of Education, I present to you the tenure class of 2017. All right, at this time, it is my pleasure to share with you the accomplishment of 39 individuals making the decision to begin a new chapter of their lives and retire. This esteemed group of individuals includes 5 employees from the Transportation Department, 5 teaching assistants, 2 custodial workers, 8 employees with clerical responsibilities, 10 teachers, 1 nurse, 1 administrator, 3 food service employees, 4 aid monitors, and you think I'm going to say partridge in a pear tree, and I'm not. Together, a cumulative total of 810 years of service to this school district. Not everyone was able to make it this evening, and others have declined public recognition, but we are very pleased to present each and every one of them with a beautiful plaque commemorating their service on behalf of the Board of Education. Please refer to your programs to see everyone that is retiring. And we're going to do our very best to recognize those individuals that are here this evening, because I tried very hard to make sure that I found everyone, so someone might have snuck in that I didn't see, and someone might have come that didn't tell us they were going to come, so we'll try to capture everyone. First one. Oh, Miss Hayes, would you join us, please? Dr. Wiles? Start with the A's. Amy Arena retires as a school counselor at Guilderland High School with 24 years of service to the district. Isabel Bass retires as a food service worker with 13 years of service to the district. Joanne Capone retires as a teaching assistant at Pine Bush Elementary School with 16 years of service to the district. Michael Cole slip in? Ah, there you are. Michael Cole retires as a school bus attendant with 12 years of service to the district. Davis retires as a science teacher at Guilderland High School with 20 years of service to the district. Deborah Diederich retires as a keyboard specialist in the Human Resources Department with 28 and a half years of service to the district. Marianne DeNovo sneak in? No? All right. Next, Sheila Ilario retires as an instructional administrator for Art K-12 and as an art teacher with the district with 17 years of service to the district. Florence Finks retires as a school bus driver with 13 years of experience with the district. Looking quickly for a couple of folks that said they were coming, but I don't see them. So this next one's a little tough too. Barbara Jaeger retires as the secretary to the Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources with 30 years of service to this district. Jacqueline McClintock retires as a keyboard specialist in the Counseling Center with 22 years of service to the district. Colleen Mickle retires as a physical education teacher at Guilderland Elementary School with 32 years of service to the district. To further the devastating loss to the physical education department, Barbara Newton retires as a phys ed teacher at the high school with 32 years of service. Beverly Toro retires as a keyboard specialist with the Human Resources Department with 29 years of service to the district. I don't know if anybody was paying attention, but that's 3 people from my department that are retiring. That's a total of 87.5 years of institutional knowledge from the Human Resources Department. Now you know I'm crying. Oh, I'm going to miss you guys. Oh, next up, Stephen Trimboli retires as a food service worker with 16 years of service to the district. With 17 years of service to the school district, Kathleen Walker retires as a school bus driver. Miss Williams, come on down. Hires as a senior keyboard specialist and secretary to the elementary principal, Alicia Rizzo, with 27 years of service to the district. So I just want to ask, did any other retirees sneak in on me tonight? Because we have your plaque here. No takers? All right. So at this time, I'd like to invite our board president, Ms. Christine Hayes, to the podium to speak on behalf of the Board of Education. Good evening. On behalf of the community and the Board of Education, I would like to congratulate all of you on this momentous occasion. It really is an honor for me to be here tonight to celebrate this with all of you and seeing so many familiar faces and some teachers that I even had back in the day. To the retirees, I hope you will remember your time in Guilderland as rewarding, challenging, and fulfilling. And I hope you know that you've touched the lives and positively impacted so many children in your years here. And to those of you receiving tenure this evening, I look forward to hearing about all of the wonderful contributions you'll make to the district in the years to come and the ways that you'll enrich the lives of children. Thank you so much for all you do, and congratulations again. As you retire, may you look back with pride on all that you have done. May you remember fondly the friendships that you have made and the lives that you have touched. May you look forward with anticipation of the wonderful times ahead, and may you move on in happiness and in health. On behalf of the Board of Education and the entire Guilderland community, we thank you for your many years of service. We'd like to congratulate everyone celebrating an achievement this evening. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you. And so, of course, you're all welcome to stay for the meeting, and we would love to have some people here. But if you do not want to do that, we'll take a 5-minute break.
The great exodus.